Okay, we're going to also look at shifting and reflecting exponential functions. So let's say I start with a function, exponential function. Let's say f of x equals 3 to the x power. Now, I want to shift the function over. Let's say I want to shift it over to the left 2. Okay, if I want to shift it over to the left 2, if you recall, we're going to change the x value and move it over 2. That's how we would shift it over 2. So that's very similar to all the other shifting that we've done before. So whenever you want to shift left and right, you're changing the x value and you're substituting, let's say for left it would be x plus 2, and if we want to move right 2, it would be x minus 2. Now if we want to shift up and down, again, that's outside of the parent function. So you start with the parent function, and let's say I wanted to shift it up 4, I would add 4. If I wanted to shift it down 4, I would subtract 4. So remember, for up and down, it's easily intuitive. You would go up. I mean, if you're going up, it would be positive. If you're going down, it would be negative. Remember, for the x's, it's counterintuitive, though. You have to do the opposite. So if I want to move left 2, I have to add 2. So if you want to go to negative direction, you want to add 2. If I want to go in the positive direction, I want to subtract 2. Okay, you also have reflecting on the x-axis, and you also have reflecting on the y-axis. So if I want to reflect along the x-axis, let's say that's I. Okay, if you want to reflect the x-axis, you want to have a negative 1 outside times the parent function. Okay, if you want to reflect along the y-axis, you want the negative to be inside. So again, just to repeat all of these, if you want to shift left and right, you're changing the x's right here. So this is the shift left and right. This one is a shifting up and down. This one is reflecting along, let's see, that's a negative outside, so it's x-axis. And this one is reflecting along y-axis. Okay, why don't we go ahead and graph some of these so that you can see how it looks. Okay, right here, so I got my TI-83 right here. Let's zoom in a little bit. Okay. Start with the y equals. You can see I already have a few of them in there. So let's go ahead, and I have a parent function. I have 3 to the x power. Now I have 3 to the x plus 1. Okay, I'm going to pick that out one also. So I have those two highlighted. I'm going to change my window a little bit here. And I'm going to make the y min 0. And so let's go back to this. So just think about, what should this look like? How should they compare? So the first one, we have a parent function. It should be 3 to the x power. Now what would 3 to the x plus 1 power look like? Would it shift it up 1? Would it shift it down 1? Left 1? Right 1? Okay, let's go ahead and graph that. So here's the original function, and then here comes the second one. So as you can see, it shifted it to the left one as we expected. That's again, the x value is inside, so it shifted over left 1, as you can see. Okay, let's go back to the y equals here. I'm going to now pick I deselected that second equation, and I'm going to select the third one. So now this time the 1 is outside, so that should shift it up 1. So we're going to have the original function here, and now it's going to shift it up 1. So you can see, yep, it's coming in 1 higher. So everything got shifted up 1. Okay, let's look at the next one here. So the negative is on the outside, so it should reflect it across the x-axis. So let's change our window here. Let's change this back to the minimum to a -10. So I'm going to pick this one right here, and I'm going to graph it. Okay, so we got our original. Should reflect across the x-axis here. So there you go. So reflected across the x-axis. That's what we're looking for. It's just like a mirror image over onto the other side. Last one. Let's go ahead, and that's going to be 3 to the -x power. I'm going to change my window back to 0 here for the minimum. Okay, this time it should reflect it across the x-axis. So you can see how it's mirrored itself across the x-axis. So it just went from this and it flipped over.